Hey, what's up you guys? It's me, True Brilliance, back with a video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Mars, okay? We're going to be talking about that masculine energy and how it expresses itself in the natal chart. Now, your Mars placement is very important. A lot of the times it's often overlooked by astrologers or just by the average person when looking at your natal chart. But our Mars energy, it talks about how we express our masculinity, and it talks about how we go after our desires, how we go after achieving what it is that we want. So Mars actually plays a major role in manifesting. You know how when they say you put it out into the universe what it is that you want, right? So that's mainly like Venus. Venus is our desires as well. Venus is what we want, what we are attracted to, okay? So obviously what we are attracted to is what we want to experience in our reality. So Venus is kind of like a wish that we make. It's like a wish, us wishing upon a star. Like, I would like to experience this reality. I would like to experience this lover. I would like to experience this person, right? And then Mars is the actions and the steps that you take in order to achieve that, because you know how they always say you ask for something and then you have to take action. Okay, so Mars is the actual taking action. Okay, you just can't wish for stuff or want stuff but don't take action in your reality in order to get it. So taking action and the desire of wanting to obtain something work hand in hand. So Venus is wanting to obtain something and wanting to have something, because remember, Venus is I have, right? And Mars is how you go about getting what it is that you will eventually have, okay? So you have to take action in order to achieve your desires. So that is what we're going to talk about, getting into the Mars placements. Now, some people are really at a huge advantage when it comes to their Mars placements. In my opinion, the best Mars placements are Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Aries, Mars in Scorpio, and Mars in Leo. To me, those are the four most powerful Mars placements, okay? Now, the weakest Mars placements are Mars in Cancer, which I have, Mars in Cancer, Mars in Taurus, Mars in Libra, and Mars in Pisces, okay? I would say would be like the weakest Mars placements, okay? The weak Mars placements are strong in other areas, and I will talk about that when we get into the Mars series. So let's talk about rulership of Mars. Mars naturally rules Aries and Scorpio, okay? So Aries is external Mars and Scorpio is internal Mars, okay? So this is why they say Scorpio is intense, okay? So because it's an inner tension, okay? That's Mars. Okay, the inner buildup, the fire building up inside of yourself. It's passion. That's what Mars and Scorpio is. Okay, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Okay, so Mars does very well in Capricorn. I think Mars in Capricorn is almost the strongest Mars placement. I've seen Mars in Capricorn in action, and it's very powerful. And Mars falls in, it's in detriment in Libra, and it falls in Cancer, okay? And that's because Cancer is the opposite of its exaltation, and Libra is the opposite of its home, which is in Aries, okay? Taurus as well, because it naturally rules Scorpio as well, okay? So we're going to get into Mars through all of the signs for you guys to understand your Mars placement better and how your Mars energy expresses itself. One thing that you need to learn about your Mars is do not fight against your Mars, okay? That's not going to get you anywhere in life, fighting against your Mars. If anybody knows this, it's me with my Mars in Cancer. You have to learn how to go with the flow of your Mars placement, and you just gotta kind of accept your losses. If you have a weak Mars placement, you have to accept your losses and learn how to work within the energy of that sign, okay, if you want to get anything done at all. Mars also rules your energy levels, okay? So this is another thing that a lot of people don't know, is that Mars rules your energy levels, okay? So people that like have Mars in Cancer or Mars in Taurus, they have very low energy levels, okay? So they may need to exercise more or just do things to become more active because they can have low vitality. So when your Mars is in like a feminine sign, you can have low vitality. You don't have that much energy. People that have like Mars and fire signs, you'll notice that they're very energetic. They have a lot of energy to burn. Sometimes it's hard for them to sit still. Okay, Mars also rules our sexuality. People don't talk about this, but Mars rules how we express our sexuality, okay? Because if you think about it, the sexual act is something that is very Mars-like in nature because you're exerting your energy, right? That's why people sweat. That's why people are hot. That's why people are out of breath. That's why it feels like, you know, afterwards, like you just got done running miles, okay, at the park. You're tired, right? You're tired after it. So that's why literally Mars rules sex, and a lot of people don't know about that, okay? But Mars rules how we like doing that, and it also rules what we are attracted to when doing that, and what turns us on, what gets our fire going, because Mars is our inner fire. So it's our fire and desire. Y'all know what I mean? So this is what gets our engines going, okay? We are going to be talking about that as well when discussing the Mars placement. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Mars in Libra, okay? So Mars is in detriment in Libra, specifically because Mars rules the opposite sign of Aries, where it is at home, okay? So when it's in the opposite of its home, it feels very, very uncomfortable. So we know that Mars in Aries is about being direct, going straight for what it is that you want, and having very, very strong willpower, sticking up for and defending the self. When Mars goes to Libra, it's all about defending other people and sticking up for other people and thinking about other people's needs, wants, and desires. So first things first, I would like to say that Mars in Libra would make a very good lawyer, a very good public defender, okay, and somebody that fights for other people's rights. That's how I see Mars in Libra. I honestly see Mars in Libra as fighting for justice of other people. And that is the strong point of Mars in Libra. When it comes to fighting for other people, Mars is the shit in Libra. But when it comes for fighting for the self, not so much. This is where Mars can run into a lot of issues because Mars and Libra honestly can have a really hard time sticking up for themselves, especially the women that have this placement, more so than the men. The men still have an issue with it, but because they are of the masculine polarity, they're able to defend themselves a little bit more. But for the women, they can be very self-sacrificing for other people, and they can always put other people's needs ahead of their own needs, okay? And what is Mars about, specifically Mars in Aries? Mars in Aries is about getting your needs met, getting your desires met, the things that you want as an individual, not what somebody else wants, but what you want as an individual. When you have Mars in Libra, you're always putting other people's needs and desires in front of yours, and you're always fighting for other people's needs and desires as well. So again, it could be a very good energy for fighting injustices, for standing up for the underdog, for, you know, fighting other people's battles. Mars and Libra can be very good for that, but they're not good at fighting their own battles, okay? Now, Mars and Libra is another one that really depends upon the house placement. Mars in Libra and water houses can really struggle a lot with this placement. Mars in Libra, even in Earth houses, can somewhat struggle a little bit with this placement. Mars and Libra in the fire houses can definitely help this position a lot. Mars and Libra in the air houses can be very good for negotiating things. Like, you know, and Mars and Libra in general is really good at negotiating. That's one thing that they can do very well. They're very good at coming to a common ground with another opposite side or opposing energy to come to an equal ground. So Mars and Libra actually is very diplomatic. And that's actually one of their strong points because they don't like fighting. Mars in Libra does not like fighting with other people. They rather come to an agreement, come to a consensus between both sides. And that's what they will do. So the thing that I see with Mars and Libra a lot is that they can talk a good game, but like when it comes down to it, they rather negotiate or compromise with someone else instead of actually going to war with them. It would actually take a lot for Mars and Libra to actually go to war or get into a fight with someone. They will if they have to, but they rather hash it out. Like Mars and Libra thinks about it like there's more sensible ways to handle this situation than to get in a fight. Mars and Libra can actually look at fighting as being quite senseless and dumb and beneath them, right? Because they're all about being civilized. The air signs are very civilized. So they feel like there has to be a logical way for us to come to a decision about this. There has to be some type of agreement that we can come to rather than getting all animalistic and fighting each other. They kind of think that that is beneath them, okay? So that's another reason. It's like, don't think that Mars and Libras are just suckers or they're just weak or they're just scared, but they honestly feel like all issues and disputes can be hashed out just by talking about it and giving each other's viewpoint about the situation, okay? As far as what they put their energy into, because Mars is about what we put our energy into, Mars and Libra can put a lot of their energy and willpower into relationships. They can put a lot of their energy into getting relationships, keeping relationships. They put a lot of energy into keeping their relationships together. So Mars and Libra is definitely energy that's going to fight for their relationship. They are not the type that's just going to give up on their relationship after the first, second, third, fourth, 10th, 20th time. They're going to keep fighting for their relationship until there's absolutely no other alternative left. Okay, so Mars and Libra can be that person that does not give a relationship up, even if it gets really bad, because Mars and Libra always believes that there's a way to make it work. They always believe that if they compromise, if they come to a common ground, they can both see eye to eye. So this could be a good thing for relationships, but it also can be a bad thing because it's like sometimes you have to stop fighting for something that's not working. Okay, so that's a lesson that Mars and Libra needs to learn. Now, when it comes to sexuality, Mars and Libra is like Mars and Cancer in a lot of ways, where they really want to please their mate and partners, and they go out of their way and will do anything to please their mate. So they're really into pleasing their partner, but they're also into fairness when it comes to the bedroom. So it's like, I do this for you, you do this for me. If you do this for me, I'm going to do this for you. So they're definitely into compromising in the bedroom as well. But a Mars and Libra person is definitely not going to be the situation where you're doing all the work and they're not doing anything. They definitely believe in what you put in, I'm going to put in. Like, let's match each other energy-wise. Mars and Libra can also be into the mental aspects of sexual contact and relating. So they can like to talk about it. They can like conversation about it. They can really be into foreplay, flirting before the act, and they're very idealistic when it comes to sex. So they like things to be very ideal, but they're also extremely romantic. Mars and Libra is one of the most romantic Mars placements. So they will pull out the red carpet for you. They will have roses for you. They will have candles. They will run your bath water. Very romantic placement, and they can actually be very seductive, very seducing. The men especially, and the women can be, you know, they can be Aphrodite in the bedroom. They can very much know when it comes to sex. I think Mars in Libra is very good. It can almost be superior when it comes to that. So like I always say, even if Mars is in fall or detriment, it always has its positive sides as well. And I think when it comes to that, Mars in Libra definitely has a positive side of that. But they definitely care a lot about making relationships work. They don't like arguing. They don't like messiness. They don't like when things get too brash. That turns them off. Like for things to be harmonious. So they don't want to fight. They will put down their sword before they fight. Not because they're scared or not because they're weak, but because they feel that it's unnecessary. It's not necessary. There's other ways to solve this. We can solve this mentally. We can solve this by talking things out. So they're very logical when it comes to their action. Now, the women with these placements definitely can care a lot about their friendships, can care about their relationships. And I would say the same thing with the men. The men and women are kind of equal when it comes to this placement. There's not really a variation. But they also Mars and Libra may be an energy that puts a lot of energy into their looks too and their appearance. They may care a lot about their appearance. So some of the women with this placement may put a lot of time and energy into their makeup, into their hair, into the way that they dress. They really like to be presentable. So they may put a lot of energy into appearance. Same with the men. The men may put a lot of energy into appearance as well, making sure they're groomed correctly, making sure they smell nice, smell, touch, sensuality is something that's very important to Mars in Libra, okay? So go ahead and leave your commentary down below. Let me know what your Mars in Libra house placement is, any aspects that are being formed to your Mars in Libra. I'll talk to you guys on the next video.